Okay, we're live. This is Servant Leadership, group number 4. I'm Amanda.
I'm Paige.
And I'm Shawndell.
And we're going to talk about Joppa today. So, our experience was with Joppa, and Joppa is an outreach for the homeless population. It's an agency that helps with food, housing, and other materials for the homeless population.
So Joppa's mission is to
veterans and others without full-time jobs. They have education, community events, universities, colleges. Joppa Kids, I think, was just recently started. K through 12 students are in that.
Food and supplies and loading that into the vehicles and then actually doing the outreach. I personally had a really great experience with all of the volunteers that were there and all of the people that we helped and supplied food and supplies to. So packing up the coolers was an interesting experience, don't you guys think?
Yeah, you and I did that together one day.
Yeah. It was so cool to see how much was donated and how much we could fit in those little coolers.
Yeah.
Go to camp.
Right.
Batteries and socks and stuff like that was super huge things other than food that we helped to distribute.
Bug spray.
Bug spray.
Yeah, for the campsites.
Yes, bug spray.
Yes.
So I guess that leads us into the outreach. We were their support system. You know, they looked forward to us coming every Sunday. And I did 2 Sunday outreaches. And though they were very similar, they were also very different. We saw different people in different situations. And after the first day, I was on a pretty long route. So, you know, we thought we kind of had seen it all. And we were wrong. We're so wrong. There was so much more diversity population than you even think.
I agree. I did 2 days of outreach as well. The first day was a lot longer than this, but they were very different communities. It just depended on what route you were in and what part of town. The first day we did some.
And even if they didn't ask us to pray, they said, can you keep in your thoughts, you know, this, that, and, you know, keep off the rain for a couple more days. And, you know, I just submitted a resume to this place. Can you know, give your energy so that I can get this job and all that. And even if it wasn't faith-based, which I think that community is absolute 100%, they were still very much a spiritual group.
Right. And there's so
both, you know, see both sides of it and experience, you know, how the whole process is done. And I didn't know that they
can't volunteer every single Sunday. So they do it like once a month or twice a month or twice a year. You know, but they still build this relationship and this friendship with these people because they can put a face to a name and really get to know them.
Right. Do you guys have a favorite experience?
Yeah. It was on my first route, and we had been looking for this camp for a while, and we ended up like going into the woods because my leader knew where this was, and this guy wasn't responding or anything, and he was actually just sleeping. So we ended up waking him up when we found his camp finally. But it was a big camp of like 8 or 9 people, And that community was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. People are so handy. They had made like houses, and they had a garden, and they had, you know, a place for their animals to run and play. And like it was a whole little like community there that was little
Forceful.
tents and little like plywood houses, and they had doors and windows.
Oh my gosh.
A garden, and they had gardening like tools and everything, and they had this, there was a pump a ways away, and so they had like a whole like piping system so that they could have running water. And it was just the coolest thing. And I could never even imagine being that resourceful.
I was gonna say, it's crazy how creative you can get once, I mean, you're in that situation. Obviously, you need those creative juices to come up with something you're gonna do for yourself.
Yeah.
I bet that they also got a sense of pride. And, you know, if they had a garden, they can't really provide a lot for themselves, but that's something they can provide for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, so that's probably a nice,
So we're
right?
going to take more bread and meat that way. And they all would go around to their different resources. Some of them were also with DMARC, and some of them were also with WIC, and some of them were also with a few other smaller organizations. And they were really family. They would pool everything together. They even made like a refrigerator in the ground, like
Wow.
to
That is awesome.
cold, so they could take milk, and they could take, you know, things that like cheeses and yogurt that needed to be
Cool.
That is
and
awesome.
yeah, they said they can't keep anything frozen, but they can keep it cold for a few days. So
Very
that
cool.
was just so cool. And they really treated each other like family. They pooled all of their resources together, and they shared everything.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, Joppa is a part of that family. Like this guy, we went and we sat with them for probably 20 minutes almost, before back to the car and got what they wanted. So that was my favorite experience. A really standout experience.
It's nice to like hear you say that, because it just goes to show how like no one is like selfish. Like they're wanting to help each other out of like the situation that they're in. And she had like all of these dogs, and like it was like literally, I'm not gonna remember like the Bible verse or anything, but like it reminded me of like Noah's Ark, because she had like all of these animals like all over her place, and she was like giving us all of these like Bible verses and like talking about how she loves the animals that come there, because like she can like sit there and feed them like the food that she has too. I don't know. She was like very like, she just kept talking about Jesus, and it made me feel so good, because I was like, wow, I don't go to church every Sunday, but like listening to her talk about how Jesus is helping her and how we're Jesus's helpers, like coming to her and bringing her things that she needs after she prays for it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to get like deeper into my own religion, you know?
That's so great.
Yeah.